Dude,
What is it?
JRPG news.
Again?
Again! Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Turn-Based Memories. I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Welcome to Dude JRPG News on the Dude JRPG News YouTube channel. I'm here with my co-host, Mel. How's it going, dude?
Hello, Zoltan. I'm doing well.
Yeah, and as he just said, I am your host, the legendary Zoltan, and we're going to tell you about some JRPG news today. It turns out, dude, there is JRPG news today. It's one of those rare occasions, yo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I'm going to go first with my quickies section, because I got lots of quickies. Here we go. There will be a Tales Series 25th Anniversary special live stream on December 15th on YouTube and Periscope. This is a Japanese show. It's not in English this time, unfortunately. It will have info on Tales mobile games. Boo. Some Tales-related events. Some anniversary merchandise. Okay. Game development stories with series veterans. Ooh. And music performances by Go Shina and Motoi Sakuraba. Hell yeah. I think Go Shina, didn't he do the music for Code Vein?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't recall looking up who did.
I forgot. But anyway, one JRPG YouTuber who strongly recommends Go Shina is Tark's Gauntlet. So there's a testimony for you. Yeah. I personally just love watching Motoi Sakuraba shred 4 keyboards all at the same time. He's kind of amazing like that.
What was the name of the composer again?
Go Shina with 2 eyes.
That's the person who did the Code Vein soundtrack.
According to Tark's Gauntlet, that game's music is God tier. Okay, Mercenaries Blaze. That's the plural of mercenary, not the possessive of person of mercenary. Mercenaries Blaze, Dawn of the Twin Dragons is coming out on Switch on December 17th. That's in like 10 days, yo. I looked at a video of it. It looks basically exactly like Final Fantasy Tactics, and it looks solid enough. Sega says that Phantasy Star Online 2 Episode 6 comes out December 9th in the West, and it will have new character classes, new quests, and the level cap will be increased to level 95. I bet Phantasy Star Online 2 is freaking fun. It's just what I expect. I don't know, though.
Yeah.
Persona 5 Strikers is coming out to the West on PS4, Switch, and PC on February 23rd, according to a super secret video that Atlas did not want you to find because it was unlisted. I don't know how they found it, but they did.
Uh-oh.
A Dragon's Dogma sequel was found in the recent Capcom leak. We mentioned that leak. You mentioned that leak maybe 2 weeks ago or so, and one person commented, nothing about Dragon's Dogma 2? There was something about Dragon's Dogma 2, and we missed it. My apologies. It's expected.
Boy.
Yeah, it's expected to come out mid-2022.
Wow. I had heard after that there was more information that was kind of being doled out. Maybe that was part of that, like more info, or maybe I missed it. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be that we missed it. It could be it just came out later. But it's good news if you like Dragon's Dogma. I have the kind of updated version of Dragon's Dogma that came out later called Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. Thank you, Dark Arisen. I saw that on sale and downloaded it to my PS4, like just for when I have time, kind of a thing. Because
exactly.
it looks like it could be a fun game because I believe it's open world. I don't like the dark aspect, of course, but the whole run around in an open world and fight big ass bosses looks fun to me. And also,
it's a good adventure game with a lot of good traveling around mechanics.
It does. Ooh, traveling around mechanics. You don't mean fast travel. You mean things that happen while you're traveling.
Fast travel is like a thing you kind of have to earn.
Okay, that's cool. That's like Dark Souls, yeah. Brigandine, The Legend of Runergia. This is not that PS1 Brigandine Hidden Gem game. This is one, like a sequel to it, I guess, that recently came out. Has unleashed a huge update patch. So large, in fact, that they've given it a name beyond version 1.1.2. 1.1.2, it's got 3 digits, and 2 points. It's called Titans and the Iron Front. This patch will be available for download on day 1 for the PS4 version when it comes out on December 10th. The PS4 version will also have a demo. I would probably love this game. Now let me go look at, here we go. I got the list of all the patch notes. I'm not going to read them all because there's a lot of them, but highlights of this thing. For example, you can now totally customize the difficulty, like various aspects of the difficulty. What did I see? For example, you could, there's a time limit in hard mode. You can now play hard mode, but without the time limit, for example. You can set the amount of experience you receive. I don't know if you can set it harder, but you can definitely set it to more, so you can make it like double the experience and double the gold from battles and things. Mm-hmm. There is a new AI setting called Guard Castle Hex, where like knights will like stay in their formation, and like you can't bait them out as easily anymore, and they'll stay in front of their castle. I don't know exactly what all this stuff means when you actually play the game myself. I haven't done it myself, but it sounds good. Added more monsters. Added lots of things. It sounds like a good thing. They increased the monster limit from 100 to 200. I guess you're going to recruit monsters, and you can recruit them by the dozens. If you can get over 100, I would assume. You can change. There's some new camera angles you can choose from. There's color coding you can do now. Fainted units will always... Attacks on fainted units will always hit. That wasn't a thing before. Thank God they put that in there.
Yeah, right? Jeez.
You know, that's an excellent point, though, because it's something that reminds me of Dragon Quest 1, where in Dragon Quest 1, the first one, they actually put in the mechanic that if you put the enemy to sleep, your runaway chance becomes 100%. Lots of games don't do super obvious stuff like that, yo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you do this, there's no way they could possibly stop you, but you still can't run away. There's like lots of games that are like that, yo.
Yeah, like if you put an enemy to sleep or disable them completely like that, you should get like crits or something. You know?
Yeah,
and,
totally.
Yeah, games
that's a good point, too.
Don't do that.
Yeah, they don't. That's an excellent point, man. You can cast the stop spell on people in Final Fantasy games, and they literally are frozen in stasis, can't do anything. Yeah, that's freaking automatic crits right there, right?
Should be.
Yeah. And they also fixed some bugs. So it sounds like a really great thing that they've done here. And I'm glad for the players of this game. And I would like to play it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hexagonal grid-based strategy RPG. The original one was also, on PS1, was also hexagonal grid strategy RPG. Yeah. And the last quickie of them all, where did I put it? Right down here. A, quote, special look at the new Dragon Age will happen at Game Awards 2020. But it doesn't matter, because it's going to be terrible. That's my opinion. I threw that in there. My proof for this beyond BioWare's recent track record, the 2 most experienced people in the studio just left, yo. Those are the creative director of the Mass Effect series, Casey Hudson, and the executive producer of Dragon Age, Mark Darrah. And Mark Darrah's comment upon departure was particularly hilarious to me. Quote, though I remain confident in BioWare's strength and continued place in this conversation, I have decided to retire from my position at BioWare. I don't believe you, Mark Darrah. I don't think BioWare is strong right now. And their place in the conversation is hilarious. I don't think they've had a quality product since, what is it, Mass Effect 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Mass Effect 3 was absolutely, like, insanely bad, right? Like, people...
I would say Mass Effect 3 was just, the story was bad. The gameplay was maybe a little too third-person shootery. Like,
there's also crazy graphics animations, like flaws all over the place, including things like the normal walking animation becomes this weird bow-legged duck walk animation.
Was that Mass Effect 3 or was that Mass Effect Andromeda?
Oh, is that okay? I forgot. I don't remember actually.
Yeah, Andromeda is the fourth one,
okay.
and it's like not a reboot, but like a continuation after the trilogy, and that is the one that has like famously bad performance issues.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, I was thinking of that. That's right. 3 is the one that had the famously bad ending, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, and I played Dragon Age, the second one or the third one. What's the third one called? Not Origins. Inquisition. That's it.
Inquisition.
Yeah, I played Dragon Age Inquisition, and I'm seriously playing like the first 8 hours, and I'm like, is it gonna get fun?
I fell off of that one too. Everyone had a bucket full of caveats. Well, if you do this and you don't do this and you do this, I'm like, that's the game's fault at some point, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just was not into the battle system or the level up system or any of it. I mean, the graphics were cool, I guess, but that's it. So, yeah. And I believe that is all the quickies that I got, man. What do you have for us, Mel?
All right, let's move into our first non-quickie story. I do have quickies, but I'll do them a little later. Okay. So the Dragon Quest XI has had a definitive edition that has all sorts of improvements and additions added to the original version. It's been out on Switch for a while. It's coming soon to Steam, or it is on Steam and PS4.
Yeah.
And I guess on PS5. I'm not sure what the status of that is, but
I didn't hear
a lot of that's cross-platform anyhow. The only real news here to update on that is that the original version that you could buy of Dragon Quest XI on Steam, for example, is going to get pulled in favor of the definitive edition. So you won't be able to upgrade from or in any way choose which version to buy.
Yeah.
And the problem, quote unquote, with this is that the definitive edition is based off of the Switch version. And the 3D graphics on that are noticeably worse.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they added all of these upgrades and story content additions and that 2D like Super Nintendo mode to the original base version that was, it came to the Switch quite a while after.
Yeah, it did.
And it was downported, quote unquote, to fit the 3D version of it, to fit onto that system. And it looks great for a Switch title. But if you're kind of trying to play compare apples to apples with the original version, it is a downgrade now that you only have access to. It's weird to me that they would not have done that work to the existing editions of the other platforms. They do say in a comment, Square Enix, that it will have the same resolution and frame rate of the originals, but I don't know that I believe that. Maybe it will. Maybe the reason it will is because the hardware limitations are not there on the non-Switch versions that allow for the frame rate to keep up and whatever. But certain things like pop-in, and Digital Foundry did a whole breakdown on this forever ago, so you can watch that.
Yeah.
If you really care. I don't know that I would really care. Like, if Dragon Quest XI Definitive Edition was $20 on Steam, and I only own it on the PS4 or whatever, I would consider double dipping and not caring too much about the visual downgrade there, because there's quite a lot more that comes with the package.
But it's not $20, right?
No, it's $40.
Okay, 40. Yeah, I mean,
which is not full price.
Yeah, it's not full price. That's actually kind of good, in my opinion.
I think that's good, very good for the amount of time you can get out of this. I played all the way through the end, and I basically got halfway done with the game.
Okay.
As we discussed, because I didn't do all the post-game stuff.
Well, that's way more than half, dude. It's just plus another 10 to 15%. It's not that much more.
Oh, it's not? I kind of figured it was about another half of the game.
No. It's not half. You beat the first time that you thought it was the final boss. You beat that, right?
Yeah.
And you watched the credits at least once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. The rest
but
is
then
the rest
you get
is
to
like
go, like back in time.
yeah, but that's like 10 hours more stuff.
Okay.
It's not.
Right.
It's not another
it was
40.
lot more.
No.
Okay.
A lot of story in that 10 hours for sure, though.
Okay. All right.
So you have played
really
most
thought
of it.
I was like, oof, I didn't really finish this one.
Yeah, maybe it was maybe up to 20. I don't know. Yeah, there's quite a bit in there, but nowhere near half.
Okay.
So I'm looking at just a random comparison screenshot of a close-up of the main character's face in Dragon Quest XI with a back-to-back, side-by-side comparison shot of Switch version and PS4 version. When they're side-by-side like this, I can totally see the difference. Just more detail overall. The handle from the sword, the two-handed sword on his back that's popping up from the behind his shoulder or whatever, that actually looks way better. You can see the stitches on his clothing a lot more clearly, and the trees behind him have more leaves and are darker, and the whole thing just looks more defined in general. So it probably, maybe they won't be lying, and they probably will be the same. It will still be 1080p resolution, but it's going to be 1080p resolution of the Nintendo Switch graphics, I think is what you're telling me, right?
Pretty much. Like, that was their trying to make sure people don't freak out too hard, but you're exactly correct. It's the same resolution and frame rate of the original, but the original is working off of a different graphic model.
Yeah, it is different. Yeah, like the number of little ridges or whatever on the handle of his sword and stuff is different, yo.
Mm-hmm. They did a lot of work to fit it and make it run as well as it could on the Switch, and along for the ride came all of the the meaningful extra gameplay features, which now somewhat clumsily they're scrapping all the original effort for just a straight port of the Switch version. I mean, I understand it. Like, I see how they painted themselves into that corner, but, that's like they shouldn't have never gotten themselves into that position.
Yeah. So you're getting a bit of a graphics downgrade, but you're getting fully orchestrated music and some extra side stories.
Yep. Extra side stories, the optional 2D version of the whole game.
Oh, we'll be in there as well, right? So that's
it's everything the Switch version has. So
right.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of content. Initially, I was confused, like, why aren't they letting people who bought the original version get this? Like, you bought it. That has occurred in the past, where they give you an upgrade or a discount.
No,
and they never did that. They're like $60 again, please.
Yep.
And it's like, what? But having learned what was in there, I'm like, okay, it's actually quite a lot.
It is quite a lot, yeah.
And that's it for my little story. You want to go next? You want me to go again?
No, I'm going to go next. Okay. Kickstarted game Subverse has recently released a somewhat in-depth gameplay video through YouTube channel Arch. I believe it was originally called Arch Warhammer, but now it just seems to be called Arch and nothing else. It's being developed by FOW Interactive. I don't know what FOW stands for, if it's actually supposed to be just FOW. But they have announced that they're going to release this game in chapters. Chapter 1 is now scheduled to come out in the first quarter of 2021. You pay for the entire game when you buy it, but then you get all the remaining chapters as they are released. This is separate from possible DLC. None has been announced yet, but they said if we do DLC, it's a different thing. But you get the chapters of the game. You have to pay for all of them if you buy it, and then you just get them all as they come out. And if you buy it later, then you'll get all the chapters as well. Now, what is this game? Well, before I tell you that, I just want you to know that this game rallied 58,000 backers, on Kickstarter, and raised 16 times their monetary goal. And I believe they got into like the top 20 Kickstarters of all time. They got way up there, So,
wow.
So, what is this game? Well, it's an RPG. According to the dude from the studio that was in Arch's video explaining the game to him, he said he was going for something like Mass Effect, but with full pornography sex scenes. So you get to do the aliens like in Mass Effect, but it's going to be way more explicit is the word, I guess.
Okay.
So this is actually sort of a hentai game, although it's not anime style.
It's probably the most robust hentai game in terms of other mechanics.
Right, in
I've
terms
ever
of
seen.
Gameplay and I assume story. He said that he had originally, he being like the guy from the staff who was in the, I guess he was the writer because he wrote the script, he said. So the writer, he was in Arch's video and he was saying that, originally I was just going to make a simple 100-page story for the game. But he said now it's already gone to hundreds of pages. So it's going to have a pretty big story at the very least. And I watched that whole video, the gameplay demonstration, and it looks pretty fun to me. You have your spaceship, and you can enter these. You just click on like a planet that you want to go to, and say, "Okay, I'm going to do a mission here." But you don't freely walk around it. It's not that level of budget, but you just end up magically on teleporting down to the planet onto a not a hexagrid, just a square grid strategy RPG battle system, like Final Fantasy Tactics, that kind of battle system.
Right.
And while you're down there, it's just a single screen. I wonder if they're going to make other areas have extend longer than your computer screen, than your monitor. I wonder. But you're in there, and you can see what's going to come, but you don't know where they're going to appear. So you kill all the guys that you see in the beginning. Like it's Final Fantasy Tactics, you see there's guys over there, and I'm going to put my guys over here, and then do this plan, and you do it. But then another wave is going to come in, and you don't know where they're going to teleport into. So that's, according to him, the guy trying to create tension and make the game more interesting in that way. And you clear all the waves of this strategy RPG battle system, and you beat the quest, and you get the experience points, and you get some other resources, and you can, I guess, use them to also do things on your ship, and you can customize your ship. Which is just a series of, sort of animated JPEGs, if you will, animated single screen. It's not like you walk around in it. You just click on, I'm going to go to the engine room. Okay, now I'm going to go to sick bay. You just click on the things like that. So it's not big budget at all in the sense of building the worlds. The worlds are not freely traversable environments. But it looks like, from what I've seen, a hell of a lot of gameplay and systems and story is in there. And there is a lot of voice acting as well, apparently. And so, as I just mentioned, there's the strategy RPG battle system thing that you do on planets. And there's also, you fly around in your ship freely, though, in space. That is free exploration. But it's not just really exploration as much as it is a shooting game. You fly around this... you fly around this galaxy, and lots of alien ships comes out. And, the alien ships themselves are sexually designed.
I didn't see that. I mean, I skipped through the
battle
gameplay stuff with the music off, and I just saw a bunch of regular ships. Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention.
I might not have noticed it myself, but
okay.
but he mentioned it. He's like, a big galactic pair of tits is gonna come and shoot you now, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess those are shaped like boobs, aren't they? So there's that. So it is basically we want to make a good video game, but that is also good pornography. That seems to be what they're going for. So we'll see if it comes out. It looks cool to me. I would like to play it. I don't think this is coming out on consoles. I think it's only coming out on PC. We'll see. But the first chapter comes out first quarter of 2021. Are you interested in playing that game, Mel?
Sounds like it's trying to do quite a lot. Don't know if I'm going to have time for that one. It does sound to me a lot like a game that would have gone on the Vita.
Totally, yeah. On the Vita, for sure. Okay, give me another one of yours. I would like to hear your quickies now, personally.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's do it. So we have two for my quickies, and they are very quick.
Okay.
The first one is that Valkyria Chronicles 4 is coming to the Google Stadia.
Dude, do we care about that?
I certainly don't.
Yeah,
but
I don't.
Maybe someone does.
Okay. Just letting us know.
I don't care about the Google Stadia. I don't intend to have spending money or time because I know you can get certain things for free, and I don't know. It's convoluted.
Doesn't it like massively fail to deliver on all the promises though that it made? Like,
yeah, and it's also failing to attract a significant foothold. But that said, I did talk to one or two people in recent months who mentioned it, who are like normal people, quote unquote. I'm like, oh, there's some mind share about this out there, I guess.
Huh.
So I don't know if you're out there and you like it. Maybe it represents a really good value for you or something. Here you go. Valkyria Chronicles 4. It's a good game, actually.
I know
game.
It's got to be. I mean, it's a lot like the first one from what I hear.
Exactly.
I noticed that in the trailer they're using a song that's right from freaking the first Valkyria Chronicles. Though, is that in the fourth game as well, or did they just use it for the trailer?
I didn't notice. Wow, I'll have to double check. I don't recall in the time I spent playing with it a while back if it reused the music. But it really is the same game. And if you want more about Valkyria Chronicles 1, it has been a while, then here you go, Valkyria Chronicles 4.
Yeah.
Our second little quickie here is a South Korean-developed MMO, Chrono Odyssey.
I didn't notice that this was from South Korea. That's cool.
Right. So it's not strictly Japanese role-playing game news.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
In the Asian sphere of influence.
Yeah. Subverse is also not Japanese. I believe it's British.
Right. So this game has a trailer. It's going to be on mobile platforms as well, so keep that in mind. And like I said, this is a MMO. And the trailer is just kind of remarkable for how epic it looks and how little information it really gives you.
Yeah, there's one combat scene, gameplay combat that they show, which looks pretty cool, but it's only one.
It does. I'm very curious how that works into being an MMO, because it was one guy fighting one large boss. It looked like Demon Souls.
That's a good
point. I'm like, how is this going to be a mobile MMO, potentially?
You just click and he dodge rolls. You just touch.
I guess, swipe around like it's Fruit Ninja or something. I don't know. But it looked cool. Some cool themes in it. Looked very high budget trailer, but that's these days all you gotta do is pour some money on that and you'll get a really high budget looking trailer.
Yeah. So
I don't know how indicative that is. But if it turns out to be the next cool MMO in the mix along with I guess World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV, then
maybe Genshin Impact is getting up there now.
Is it an MMO, really? Is it considered an MMO? I guess it is, right?
Crap. Did I get it wrong? No, I'm sorry. It's not MMO. It's free to play. I'm getting things mixed up.
Right. And I don't actually know if this game is going to include a subscription model. I'm going to guess it's not. Because it's going to go on mobile. Who's paying for an MMO?
On their phone, Nope.
But, who knows?
Also, the title is generic.
Yeah, we mentioned that before the show. The title is not great.
Chrono Odyssey. I'm kind of annoyed now that Chrono... Because the thing is, it's become one of those words. Chrono was a very unique word when Chrono Trigger came out to have in a title. I don't know that there were any video games with the word Chrono in it before Chrono Trigger. Now there are lots of them.
Yeah, I agree. And Odyssey is a very generic term.
Right. I mean, Dragon Quest, when it came out, the name was already generic. I mean, everybody...
But, it's like a very, standard game. It almost makes sense.
You're kind of right, yeah. The game itself is... Yeah.
And you think of something like Final Fantasy, the purpose of that game's name was to be very dramatic. And maybe you would know this more than me, but for some reason the developers wanted a game title with 2 F's in the name. Because it's apparently a cool letter.
Okay. I didn't know about that. It's not in.
Yeah, everyone knows the story, it was supposed to be their last-ditch attempt, and that was one of the reasons why it was called that. But before that, they were looking for like something like Fatal Frame. Like this is a common thing.
Huh. Two Fs or just F in general?
Two Fs, and F in general is like kind of a trendy letter in like marketing in Japan for some reason. It's like I have no idea why. But that was one of the original.
Holy crap, dude! Like, there's a game called Fairy Fencer F, yo, and it's like, that's like 3 Fs, yo.
Wild Arms Hunter Code F.
Are you serious?
It's
that's
everywhere.
One?
Yeah, that's one. There's a lot of random Fs sprinkled around.
Huh.
It's just considered a cool letter, I think. I don't know why.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Even living here, I don't know that. That's cool. That's interesting.
Yeah, so outside of that, I mean, hey, at least this game here isn't called Chrono Chronicles.
That's true. It doesn't have the word
Chronicles is like a worse, even like more generic term.
Yeah. You know,
that's it.
A lot of games that get translated to something Chronicles in English actually have, I mean, it's still probably, in Japanese, the term that they use is probably still equally overused, but it does have a meaning. So in the case of Valkyria Chronicles in Japan, it's called Valkyria no Senki, and Senki literally translates to like war diary or war record of the war, something like that.
I see.
So there's a anime, I believe, and maybe also a game series called Record of Lodos War. Probably that one's just simply got the word Senki in it, and we just got lucky that they didn't change it to Lodos Chronicles Lodos Chronicles or something. Yeah. So yeah, at least, War Diary or something has meaning, even if it is overused. But Chronicle, that's just like literally we wrote it down on a piece of paper for you.
Exactly, and especially with Chrono Chronicle, that's redundant.
Oh, Chrono Odyssey in this case, yeah.
Well, if it was Chrono Chronicle, it would be redundant.
It does have the Chrono, but the first Chrono just... Oh, yeah, I guess it is redundant. You're right. Because Chrono means time, and Chronicle is the recordings of what happened during the time.
Exactly.
Chrono. But, somebody should make that game, dude. Chrono Chronicle.
I bet it exists.
No, it doesn't exist, dude. No way, right?
I don't know.
Okay. So I've got one more. No. Oh, yeah, I've got one more, and then you've got one more. So let's get to it. I found some super fun videos. And first off, let me say that just as I was cooking pancakes for my family for breakfast this morning, I noticed that freaking Mel uploaded a new video onto the Term-Based Memories channel. Yeah. It's called... Remind me of the title, Mel. The full title.
The result screen, Code Vein.
The result screen, Code Vein. Okay, so that's the name of the video. And the result screen is the new series that Mel has just created. Like this morning he created it, I guess.
Pretty much.
I mean, he released it anyway. Yeah. Which is, why don't you say what it is, dude?
Sure. It is a sort of like a short-form review series where I try to get to the essence of what a game is about by looking at it through 3 specific criteria. So I'm looking at what the aim of the game, what the game is trying to do from best what I can tell, at its most ideal. What is this game attempting to do? Then I look at the accuracy of the game, how close to that mark that I feel the game has set up for itself has the game gotten. If it's trying to be, for instance, a scary game, well, how scary is it? And then the final part is sort of the sum of all the parts, which is I call it the impact. And that is, well, maybe the game didn't hit the mark, but maybe it's still good for other reasons. I want to make sure to include those reasons, or maybe it's bad for other reasons, even if it does kind of hit the mark and do what it seems to set out to do. Maybe it doesn't really work in the end. So that's kind of like the final result. And the video I released is a little over 7 minutes long, so it's not going to go into how you play or the mechanics necessarily outside of those that are important to make the point. So it wouldn't be a way to necessarily gauge if you're going to buy the game per se, but it might be a way to analyze and think about it. Maybe
Just for the fun of it?
For the fun of it, but also to maybe launch off of that and start thinking, well, what was this game and what did it end up doing? Not necessarily should I buy it or whatever. Maybe you've already played it, maybe you've heard about it, and you heard this game isn't good or it is good. Well, why? And future videos might be a little longer. I'm still kind of experimenting a little bit with the format, but that is the nutshell sort of summary.
Cool. Yeah, and I watched your video, and, he's really informative, and, yeah, basically just a fun way to think about it. I mean, that's kind of what I'm trying to do when I make my super objective review, is, like, what's the game trying to do? Because, to some degree, because that plays a part, right, in whether it was a successful game or not. But, yeah, so I also like how you named the sections aim, accuracy, and impact, because like it just sounds like you're freaking talking about like trying to hit something with a rock. I don't know.
Exactly.
That's funny.
It sounds
to me.
like a gunshot or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like an archery thing, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's that code. Sorry, you got it backwards. It's code vein - result screen.
Yes, I didn't want to put the name of the segment in front. I wanted to sort of
the game
frontline the name of the game so that you know what the hell's going on.
Yeah. So that's cool. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, let me get this up here. There are some other cool videos that came out from JRPG YouTubers. Final Fantasy Union channel released Final Fantasy IX lore, Kuja's Origins Explained. Mel, you're not allowed to watch it. You haven't played it.
Okay, I won't.
Sorry. But if you watch... But you can watch like 7, for example, if you want, and 6 as well. And anytime these guys do a character origins thing, if you're not one of those people who digs deep and finds all the possible little tidbits of information like that are only in, for example, the Ultimania guides that come out from Japan and stuff,
boy. Yeah.
Then your mind will be blown when you listen to these things. Can't think of any specific examples, but I remember having my mind blown multiple times by Final Fantasy Union's character origins videos. David Vince started Let's Play Chrono Trigger. The very first episode just came out. You can watch that. I'm not a Let's Play watcher for the most part. The only type of Let's Play I like is the type that goes through it and tells you every possible secret and strategy and stuff in the game. Which is why it's one of the oldest Let's Plays on the entire website, but H.C. Bailey's Let's Play Final Fantasy VI is goddamn insane. And just like it's insane number of secrets and an insane number of like strategies that he either came up with himself or found on game FAQs and stuff. Just like all kinds of crap, that you're going to learn if you watch that series. But anyway, so I don't know what David Vince's style is for playing a game, but he just started Chrono Trigger, so maybe you're interested in that. JRPG released Yakuza Like a Dragon Review, JRPG of the year 2020. So he's in love with it. I watched it. Yeah, and I do like his review style, and he makes a good argument for why this is such a good game. Shadow Elite HD had the Trails of Cold Steel 4 spoiler cast. I didn't watch it because it's a spoiler cast. It's a podcast-style conversation type thing. Hellfire RPGs released Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition review. He didn't care for it all that much. Yeah. He made a really freaking excellent point that I never thought of, and I never heard anybody else make as well. He said that until the end game, it's basically pointless to even have a world map in the game because you can't go anywhere else except for the next place in the story. Every time you find a new place, because he said he kept trying to like find new stuff, and he even when he first got the boat, he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna explore this thing for hours." But he like went everywhere he could, and like every place you go to is like just barriered off in some way. So that's a good point. Why have the world map? That I didn't think of about that. He said at the end game, finally, there is tons of stuff to do and go back to every town and millions of side quests, and he was really into it. But he did, like, what's the point of the world map? That was an excellent observation, in my opinion. He also said that he didn't care for the story or the characters, just like you, Mel. You said that too.
Mm-hmm.
And the only character he thinks he'll remember in a year from now is Yuri, he said.
Yeah, I mean, he is very cool.
Yeah. And Orchestral Fantasy released Chrono Trigger Brink of Time. That's the song that plays in The End of Time. And in case you don't know, what Orchestral Fantasy does, he plays all these really old school, like mostly SNES game songs, mostly SNES RPG songs. He plays them, he covers them completely faithfully down to the instrument. Like he's just got like a million instruments sitting around in his house, and he plays them all separately and then puts it together. And so, and of course, some songs sound better than others when just, played live. Like, for example, in my opinion, Smooth McGroove doing his a cappella style sounded really freaking awesome for Guile's theme on Street Fighter. But I didn't really care for it personally when he did, like, Sephiroth's theme, for example, because it lost all the heaviness because he's got that light voice.
Right.
And in this case, Orchestral Fantasy's version of Brink of Time, oh, man, sounds amazing. And the kind of amazing thing is it almost sounds just like the SNES version.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll have to listen to this.
Go check that out. Yeah, so that's Orchestral Fantasy. And that's all the cool videos that I noticed.
Okay.
So it's your turn to do your last story, and then...
Turn.
Yeah.
All right. We have one more news story here for you, and that is somewhat a quick one here. But do you recall the Dragon Quest movie that came out around about August of last year?
I remember you mentioned that, yeah. Dragon Quest V movie, yeah.
Yeah, it was based off of Dragon Quest V. It's called Dragon Quest Your Story. I'm pretty sure I watched it on Netflix.
Okay. You don't remember, huh?
No, I mean, it was over a year ago, so
Okay.
I don't remember. But it was, I remember it being fun. It looked really cool. It looked exactly like you close your eyes and imagine a CGI Dragon Quest game, movie, rather, made in 2019 would look like.
Did it have Akira Toriyama animation?
It had inspiration of that design. Like, for sure, the dragon and other elements of it looked like that. But the
you don't think
characters
it was
looked
him?
a little more generic CGI anime.
Okay.
Like, they definitely normalized it a little bit.
Okay.
Off of that style for whatever reason. But anyway, had a fun enough time. Don't remember a ton about it, but it was a cute, fun story. And it looked cool. Well, turns out the Dragon Quest V story that this is based off of is actually heavily based off of a novelization that I didn't know existed of the original game by an author. Let me find her name here. I just had it in front of my face. Saori Kumi? Saori Kumi.
Here you go. I found it in your title. Saori Kumi.
Okay. So she is a novelist who wrote a novelization of the original Dragon Quest V story back in like 1990-something. Like not long after it came out.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Dragon Quest V was an original story from in the game came out, and the game's story was just in the game. She played the game and took that story and made it into a novel.
Correct. And she made different changes. Like, she gave certain characters names. She made a couple other story changes. And most, if not all of those story changes, they're only present in the novel that she put together for them, are in this movie. And she's completely uncredited in the movie, even though at some point they mention her novel, saying it's an adaptation of the novel, and they still didn't bother to put her name anywhere in the production, maybe because they thought if they did, they would have to pay her, and they were trying to get away with not paying her or something. I don't know what the whole backstory there is.
Okay.
But a lawsuit was filed by the author for, lack of credit on a work that she made, even though it is derivative of a work that the people who put this out do own.
That's a good point.
They did change it to include things that she made that they didn't make. So I don't know if she's actually going to get something out of this. If I had to bet, she probably will. But to me, it's a little weird they don't just, I don't know, put her name in the damn credits. What's it going to do?
Well, probably not just that. Even if they put her name in the credits, I guess she wanted to be paid.
Probably that's why.
Right.
That's I guess, like I said, they were probably trying not to pay her. Maybe they didn't have the money. Maybe someone just said, "Who fucking cares?"
Yeah, it could be either of those
Who
reasons.
knows? But I just wanted to mention it because I did watch the movie and I liked the movie. I didn't know there was a novel version of it. I think that's kind of cool. I wonder if there are other ones for the other Dragon Quest games.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I remember back in the old days of the internet when it was still young and exciting. There was a little website called overclockedremix.org, which still exists totally, for sure.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they're huge.
Yeah, they're still huge. I don't know. People don't talk about them anymore, though, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
But anyway, it's still a very solid website, making lots of music, and it's cool. But I remember I used to be very, very heavily on the forums there, chatting with people or whatever back in the day. And there was a guy who had the Chrono Trigger novelization project in his freaking signature. And I clicked on that, and it's like, yeah, I'm writing the novel of Chrono Trigger. I don't know what came of it at the end. I should look that up. But interesting idea, right? I don't know. Does Chrono Trigger, as solid of a game as it is, obviously it doesn't need a novel, but I guess you could expand on stuff if you want, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. If the question is, would it work as a novel? I could see it working.
Mm-hmm.
You would need to do some changes, but
you'd have to add in a bunch of scenes.
You would have to add in a lot. The main character would have to be a person.
Has that ever been done? Has there ever been a silent protagonist in a book?
I mean, they didn't do it for this Dragon Quest V, right? They fleshed out that character a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the character, they gave the character a name. And that was in the movie, which was taken from the book. Because in the games, of course, the character's name was just Hero, and you could rename the character.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess that's what you would have to do. But I'd be down to read that. I'm sure there's a mountain of fan fiction.
Oh, yeah. Fan fiction for sure. Yeah. That's a good point. It's fan fiction. But in his one, he wants to just make it the Chrono Trigger.
Like an actual published novel that's like...
your favorite game story in a book like that, I guess.
I guess, yeah. Like, I mean, there are other... Like, obviously, this Dragon Quest V thing. I read the novels for the Resident Evil games.
Oh, those have novels.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're all right. They're really pulpy, but they're fine. They're fun.
Okay, so last thing I want to do, I know there's nothing left on our little screen here, but I want to go ahead and read the more substantial comments that we've received lately, and that requires me opening a video, and it's going to try to play. So if you hear a sound, I don't feel like editing it out, so it might happen right now. Here we go. Pause it. Okay, no, pause it. Okay, I pause it. There, no sounds coming out of that video, and one more. We got one more, you guys. Okay, open that and. Pause it! Okay, I did it. Okay, no sound. No, it's not paused. Okay, it's paused. Okay, so, most recent episode of Dude JRPG News. Our man Jam says, I haven't played The World Ends With You either, and I agree that everybody seems to love it. Does Mel's video on Cold Vein have spoilers? I haven't finished the game yet, unless, of course, the story doesn't have any intrigue or twists. Mel, what do you say?
Does it have any spoilers? Not really.
If you haven't, I watched it and I haven't played it, and I didn't really no, I didn't find anything.
No, it does not. There is a cut scene that I use that you could interpret as a spoiler, but having no context for the cut scene, you wouldn't know what's going on. So, I would say no.
That one where they're sitting around with the girl with the big breast on the couch talking to them?
No, because you can barely... I mean, the subtitles are on the screen, but there's a scene where there's a little boy running around.
Oh, in the ice field?
Yeah.
Oh, that scene. Yeah, I have no idea.
You could interpret that, but you wouldn't know from looking what exactly is going on there, really.
Totally, I had no idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay. Otherwise, I'm having lots of fun with Sakuna, which can probably be called an RPG since there are tons of stats systems. Farming is like leveling up. Buffs from dinner. What? You get buffs from eating dinner? That's awesome. Equipment ability unlocks equipment with augmentation slots, attack skills, scarf skills. Are you serious? Skill proficiencies, day-night time differences, material farming, etc. Holy crap. That sounds amazing. Action is fun once you unlock a good handful of skills. It's no Vanillaware, but there's no real reason to compare with them in the first place. Yeah, I mean, I guess the reason to compare with Vanillaware would be that, yeah, there are like 2D action stages that you go through, and they're kind of like beat 'em ups like that. But yeah, that game sounds really cool. Yeah, you plant the rice, and like you have to put the fertilizer on it, and like just making the good fertilizer is a whole huge complicated crafting mechanic on its own.
The full title is Sakuna of Rice and Ruin.
Yup. You don't make good rice, you're going to be ruined.
I guess so.
And Kaitan, I guess it's Kaitan's because the Z is lowercase. Kaitan's 29 says, a Saga Frontier remaster? Say what? I need to look this up. I loved that game. This could be huge, especially with them adding a new character. I needed a new game to play to hold me over until the Nier remaster. Since I platinumed Disgaea 5, holy crap, dude, that's insane. Platinum a Disgaea game must take... Let me ask you a question directly on the show, Kaitan. How many hours does it take to platinumize Disgaea 5? Gotta be forever, right? So, cool. By the way, I'd like to tell everyone that Kaitan Z29 has a now unused YouTube channel, but it's still sitting there, with the greatest playthrough of Valkyrie Profile 2 on it. And he does it in the H.C. Bailey style, where you learn every secret of the game. He also has a almost completely finished use no magicite run of Final Fantasy VI. He's only missing the final episode, like where you fight the final bosses. And I mentioned that to him, and he's like, yeah, I lost that computer and all the software and everything. Not making that final. So, I mean, you might as well consider it complete, because all you have to do is fight the final boss now. But that is kind of a bummer.
Wow.
But yeah, he did an excellent job on those two Let's Plays for people who are interested. And on my Demon Souls, or what I want my mother to know about Dark Souls video, Jam says, Zoltan, I think you should make the map run segment a standalone video as well. I think it might be specific enough to show up on searches. It's also just epic when you pair it with that music. Haha. I can't fathom how much work it was to kill everything and not die, then run through the whole thing again. It was pretty hard. Thank God it was just in the beginning areas of the game that I showed that was right. If I had just been a little bit better at the game, I probably could have done it in like the first 2 tries, but it took me about 6 tries in the end. More than 6, maybe 10. Main problems being, one, that those goddamn poisonous rats, like when you're going on the underside of the bridge, like I don't know how I can like, I keep trying to hit because if you block their shot first and then hit them, just you blocking their attack with your shield, you still take, you still can get poisoned by it. Yeah, so so you have to just hit them right as they're approaching you, but without getting hit by them is like the way to do it, but it's kind of hard to do. Yeah. So there's that, and then you come out into the Undead Parish, I believe is the second part. Yeah, the Undead Parish, and there's that part with the wild boar, but I killed the wild boar eventually, and then that wasn't a problem. But just, there's like freaking a couple archers on the top, and there's like 3 other skeleton dudes with spears on the sides, and like, I keep getting hit by arrows while trying to deal with the the other spear skeletons, and it was kicking my ass over and over again. But yeah, eventually I got through it and took that video. And I know that Jam is a fan of Daisuke Ishiwatari fighting games such as Guilty Gear and Blade Blue, so that's probably why he loved that song, because that was from Blade Blue.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing a map run, like running around that whole map cleared out, would be a thing that you could really only do in some games. Not a very large amount.
Yeah. I mean,
you know?
In like a Star Ocean game, you could do it in, it's kind of like, it's like, well, not Chrono Trigger. It's like any game where you can just see the enemies on the screen, right? So you could go through it running around the enemies. There's that.
Sure.
But yeah, to just have an empty world like that, not a lot of games you can do that in. And my God, how hard would that be to clear out the whole freaking world and run through it in Dark Souls 1? In Dark Souls 2, you could do it if you just spent a lot of time, because I think after you kill the enemies 10 times, they just don't respawn anymore.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Okay. And Terry says, while the aesthetic looks cool, the games themselves don't appeal to me at all. I just don't like how the games are designed around trolling the player. He's talking about Demon Souls and Dark Souls, yo. Stuff like walking upstairs and getting crushed by a boulder, then opening a chest and getting eaten by a mimic turns me off completely. I suppose
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I've heard that from a lot of people. It depends on your appetite for dealing with that on the fly. Like, there is I would say maybe a reasonable person who is very cautious could probably see maybe 80% of that coming before it actually gets them.
Yeah.
But the game, there's like a solid 20% of it is like, nah, you gotta know.
Yeah, that freaking, the one that I showed in the video is the dragon just flying in out of nowhere and burning you on the freaking battlements.
Yeah.
After the
like,
first
that's
area's over.
That's becoming like a Souls meme where if you're running along a bridge,
there's gonna be a
be
dragon.
very careful. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you can also, there are ways of detecting mimics in chests, and if you turn your camera around corners, you can usually see a lot of the bullshit that's coming around.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you
some
can
things,
actually
you know.
see the mimic. There are two ways, I think. You can just look at them really closely for a long time, and they'll actually move a little bit. In one of the games, the chain that's connected to the handle is situated in a different way.
Curls the other way.
Yeah, but you have to memorize that.
You gotta know which way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And also, you could just hit it, and if it doesn't get hit, it's a normal chest.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's what I do. I just hit them all. Okay, and that takes care of everything for today. This has been Dude JRPG News. Anything else to say, Mel?
That's it. Just go ahead and check out that result screen video that's on the Turn-Based Memories channel.
Definitely. Yep.
And that's all the news we got, right?
Yep. So subscribe if you want the news, and if you like our longer form, not podcast type videos, but video type videos, then yeah, definitely go subscribe to Turn-Based Memories as well. And share this video with all your JRPG friends. Thank you very much, Mel.
Thank you, Zoltan.
Yep, and thank you very much, everyone. Good night.
Good night.